everyone, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to my channel. One of my recent videos I talked about my thoughts on the book 1984 by George Orwell and its relation to the Mandela effect. I've been considering it a little bit more, thinking on it a little bit more. I'm just convinced that we are in George Orwell's version of 1984 in a very crude way. And I will attempt to explain that as best I can. In 1984, for those of you who haven't listened to it, the main character is a part of what's called the outer party of the government. He works for the government. And he works kind of in a department, like I mentioned in my previous video, basically changing history, essentially, or making things up and putting them in history books and so on and so forth. But he's part of the outer party. So the type of information they put out goes out to outer party members and the proletariats. As I mentioned, people like me, blue collar, lower class, not low class, middle class people, would be considered proletariats. And the proles, basically all they have to do is keep the proles happy enough to not rebel with essentially what is consumerism. Now, in 1984, it's a little bit more bleak than what we have now. I'm not gonna try to go as far as to say that our existence is as shitty as it is in that book, because that book, it makes it sound horrible. And I'm not saying the United States is anywhere near that, but I do think in a way it's very much so related. So in 1984 exists these things they call telescreens, and they're all over the place in their cities and in everybody's houses, at least people of the inner and outer parties, the government essentially. They have these telescreens, and basically they are both ways of the government relaying information, but also for the government to listen to what people are saying and doing. They can also see through the telescreens to see what members are up to. And this kind of struck a chord with me, because I thought, wait a minute, I have one of those with me all the time. I also was doing a little bit of consumerism myself, lately, obviously, with the holidays. Today's, the 30th of November, so a little bit after Black Friday and Thanksgiving. I was doing a little bit of consumerism and shopping and stuff, and pretty much every TV now that comes out, it's almost hard to find a television that's not a smart TV, that has the capabilities of listening to you, whether it has Alexa or whatever. I don't even know what all the other versions of that are, Alexa and Siri and whatever Google's version is. Anyways, your TV can listen to you. You can talk to it and it will listen to you. There's been videos proving that your devices are listening to you. So now our devices, for the most part, listen, as far as I know, basically to help, funnel ad revenue to you. It's going to find things you're talking about, and it's going to subconsciously funnel them to you on Facebook or whatever. But there's organizations within our government dedicated to, security, and there's nothing saying that in any one of the numerous times that I have to accept something. South Park did a great episode on this, that when you have to accept, the terms and conditions of any numerous things, there's nothing saying that in the fine print you're not accepting for them to, listen and use your device. There are even apps that go as far as to say it needs access to your camera, front and back. This device theoretically can see me right now. It can hear me, I can't do anything about it. Now, I'm not saying anything bad, because that could be a good thing. However, it can also be like in 1984. If you simply disagree with things that the government says or that the party says, you could be dealt with. It's a way of doing that. Now, I don't think that I am someone, down here at the bottom of society, and trust me, pretty much, middle class and upper middle class even down is considered, pros, I would say. Even people who have done well and done amazingly well and make six figures, I would even hazard to say up to $1 million a year now, is still would be considered pros. Just for the sole fact that even millionaires, are stuck in the consumerism cycle, like most of us are. That's kind of getting off topic, and is a topic probably even for a whole other video itself, because I hate consumerism. I buy stuff, yes, I do, but I just hate the level of consumerism that we kind of have now. And I made another video I need to post about minimalism, and I think there's a fine balance to strike between minimalism and consumerism. Again, a whole other topic. So back to the way I think that we were basically living in 1984. It almost strikes me too as the way that things are done today could easily be related to the book. So in the book, you have your inner party, outer party, and the pros. You could almost structure us the same way. I am a pro. The government officials, the heads of corporations, those type of people that I see on a daily basis, whether on social media or the news or what have you, I would consider those outer party. And then inner party, I guarantee you there is a lot of people, almost like the stereotypical movie scene you see where there's a line of people only lit with a silhouette at a table, and there, whatever, you can see maybe a little glow of a cigar here and there, a little bit of smoke. That would probably be inner party. There has to be an inner party pulling strings for the world. We can't fool ourselves into thinking that the United States and China and Japan and Russia and Germany and England, that it's all separate anymore. There's no possible way that with the technology we have and the capabilities we have, that it's all separate. And in that book, I love that George Orwell describes how they're always at war. They're constantly at war because war is a machine, and war helps feed their economy, gives the trolls something to do, it gives them work. It's no different here. The military-industrial complex is a real thing. It is 100% a real thing, and people profit when there's war. So, and you don't think every other country knows that? Every other country knows that too, that war can be profitable. Yeah, war can be devastating, but war can be profitable. You rally everybody behind your flag, whatever flag you happen to be flying in your country, and you get them all on your side to think that some other country under their flag is the bad guy. Well, now you all have a common goal that you're united against. And you don't think you can get a lot of people to build a lot of weapons and stuff to launch at people who they'll never see? I mean, let's be real. That happens. That's happening right now. And it's amazing to me how in 1984, I think I mentioned this too, they can say one day that they're at war with East Asia, and then the very next day say, no, we're at We're at war with Eurasia. We've always been at war with Eurasia. East Asia has always been our ally. It feels like it's not that much different to me nowadays. I mean, you see things on the news of, over in the Middle East especially, that, oh, we're over here dealing with terrorists or whatever, and we happen to be in Afghanistan. Well, the next day it's Iran, or it's Pakistan, or it's somewhere else in the Middle East, and they act like, oh, that's how it's always been. We've always been in Pakistan. What do you mean Afghanistan? Oh, sure, we're there too, but we've always been focused on this. It's a very scary thing. I don't really watch the news. I choose not to because I feel like the news perpetuates this stuff. News is very biased. I think that platforms like, I would say YouTube, but not so much YouTube, because YouTube is very much so getting, how do I carefully say this? YouTube definitely censors a lot of stuff. I think that's kind of it's just a sad progression that it gets to, because of ad revenue and so on and so forth. They have to, because you're not going to get any ads on certain types of videos, whether it's because of language or belief or whatever. You're not going to get marketing companies to put ads on your videos, therefore you're not going to make any money. So I get it. I understand it. I don't necessarily love it, but I think it's a natural progression of things. However, the news is even worse, because the news, is completely divided, left and right, I think. I'm sure there are some news outlets that try to be a little more unbiased, but I don't really know that it's possible. And I think it perpetuates this whole hard left, hard right society we kind of live in right now. And I think that's a sad thing also. I wish more people could meet more in the middle and realize that people on the far left and people on the far right, your ideas might not be that much different if you actually sat down and talked with each other. But what would I know? Just a simple little proletariat over here, driving to my simple little proletariat job, And it's unfortunate. I say these things, and yet I help perpetuate this machine, this insane machine that we have constructed in this country, especially, that just feeds on consumerism. And my belief is that we're not going to move past this era until we get past the consumerism mentality that we have built up. Everybody's looking to make a quick dollar. I would say me included, And I don't even want it. I don't even know how to broach the topic without sounding like a complete hypocrite right now. I like money, but I like money for the security reason of having some money. As I stated in another video, though, I also like having things. I find comfort and security in having things. Again, a whole nother video. Just think people need to be aware of that we do kind of live in 1984. It sounds silly, I think, but we kind of do. I mean, any news story that comes across a news station, we might see it as, it might even be something that's talking against the government. Hence, like the WikiLeaks scandal. This came out about the government and about the shady things the government or government entities were doing. Now, in one of my previous videos, I mentioned what would be accomplished by finding out that the Earth is flat. And I was there was a couple comments that said that I'm the idiot. It would only be revealing the biggest scandal or the biggest lie we've ever had. Well, then my question again would be, so what? Then what? Think about that with the WikiLeaks scandal. All this stuff, all this information was released about all these things the government had done. And it was a big deal for all of like 6 months. That was it. Nothing happened. Nothing came of it. Nobody was fired. Nobody was drugged through the streets. Nothing. The same thing would happen if it came out that the earth was flat, I'm pretty sure. It would be a huge uproar for about 6 months. And it would go away. We would go about our lives as normal. Nothing would change. Unfortunately. Now again, I don't subscribe to either of those theories. You know, like I don't subscribe to the theory that the earth is flat. I don't. However, if it came out to be flat, I don't have faith that that would change much in the way of the world right now. And I think that's unfortunate. Even an event that huge, I don't think it would slow this beast of a machine down that we've created. I do think that things are changing, and I would like to think that things are changing for the better. I've mentioned it a few times, but I do think that this is kind of an awakening, and I know I didn't come up with that, but I would like to think that's true. I would like to think more people are becoming conscious of exactly how bad we are treating the planet, flat or round. I don't care. It doesn't matter what shape it is. We're not treating it very well. I know we're getting better collectively. I think we're getting better. But I just hope things change, you know, before catastrophe happens. I mean, let's be real. I like living. I'm not saying I don't want to live anymore. You know. Let me know what you guys think, though. I didn't think I'd be talking on fringe topics only, but it seems to be what comes to mind as soon as I get in my car and start driving. You know, obviously when I'm driving, I got a lot of time to think about weird stuff. Today in particular, I'm heading to Colorado. 16 hours, so this one's gonna be a long one. So I'm sure I'll make a few more videos on the way too, because I got lots of time. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and hope to catch you guys in the next one.